Your Excellency, the President, our Deputy President, espoused to the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, all protocols observed, in the House of Clergy, na adhonia kwa hamjambo, kanyamuno gotiga, mutikahigererie. Your Excellency, unaona Governor Mutahi ameni set up. Sasa nasikia wa mama atumia mwake ya maitu. Athuri wa anywa. Adhonia kwa muriega. Kanyamuno gotiga mutiga kwa na wasiwasi na nemwe demuruti. Na Deputy President ni shahidi wangu. Your Excellency, let me begin with an admission, because it looks like this morning is a morning of confessions. And Bishop William, let me take this opportunity to thank you for the great sermon this morning, because you have spoken to very many of us. We who I will confess, and from the speeches beginning with our Member of Parliament, Mombi, I think I'm vindicated that many of us were of little faith. We were of little faith that when we prayed to cross over, as you said, God promised that He will help us to cross over, and never promised us that there will be no storms. I must admit, that bit of no promise of no storms, I wasn't certain. I thought He would cross over and it would be smooth sailing. And when we encountered a little storm, many of us who I say probably we were of little faith, we kept asking our president. And Honorable Mombi has put it very well. And it's not Honorable Kawanjiko alone. It is many in the political class who kept pestering our president and asking, Your Excellency, don't you see property is being destroyed in our country? Don't you see our country is headed the wrong way with violence, anarchy, and bloodshed taking roots in our nation? But we didn't know, Bishop, that His Excellency the President was of greater faith than many of us. And Your Excellency, I must thank you for your faith, because right from the campaign, many a times we came to your residence in Karen when we felt beaten by the storms that were there then. And you kept telling us and asking us, and I've said this before, kwani nyinyi watu hamjui kuna Mungu mbinguni? And we saw the hand of God. And Bishop, as Bishop Wanjohi said, on the foothills of Mount Kenya and between the Aberdare ranges and Mount Kenya, we come back to Sagana Lodge to give thanksgiving to God for having seen us through that storm. And also to give Him thanks for what He's about to do for us in this country. And I want to thank God that in the words of Bishop Wanjohi, who said that God promised to get us from ridicule to praise, that from the ridicule we suffered, we come back to Sagana with thanksgiving and praise to God. From the shame to a portion of double blessing, we come back to Sagana. And as Bishop William said, we have crossed over. And as I've said earlier, we didn't know we would cross over and encounter storms, Bishop. But we thank God that even with the storms, we are now enriched with a greater faith that God has gone before us. And as Bishop Wanjohi prayed, I think it's when he was concluding, he asked the House of Clergy to stand up. And he said, let us make a declaration, because I know there is another side that will come here and make declarations. And he declared there will be no more demonstrations with the clergy. Bishop Wanjohi, I want to assure you, even those on the other side, and I saw you looking at me, I don't know why you are looking at me. Even those on the other side in the political class, we have committed that there will not be demonstrations. Demonstrations will be there because it is a constitutional right under our constitution that the people have the right to picket, to demonstrate, and to protest peaceably and unarmed. But what we have committed to is that there shall be no more violence, no more anarchy, no more bloodshed in the political engagements of our country. That we have made a commitment, Bishop, and I want to give you that word. And we said in our statement last week, Bishop, that we are committing as a political class, and I say this speaking after the engagement the president had with his competitor in the last elections, that we have agreed, and when we said in that statement that we have agreed, we were giving that statement as Kenya Kwanza and our colleagues in Azimio, that we have agreed there shall be no more violence, there shall be no more anarchy and bloodshed in our political discourse, and we also agreed that we shall have no handshake and no Nusu Mkate. Therefore, Bishop, as you spoke about crossing over, we are crossing over from a nation where anarchy, bloodshed, violence, and violent demonstrations were the order of the day. We are crossing over from a place where ridicule and shame were the order of the day. And we are now crossing over to a place where economic prosperity, respect for the rule of law, constitutionalism, and protection of our democracy, where we compete in the political arena. And after elections, we settle down, congratulate the winner, respect those who lose the elections, and we move on together as one country, focusing on the needs and the aspirations of our people. That is where we are crossing over to. And Bishop, I must thank you for restoring our faith that even amidst the storms, we shall cross over to that other side of a peaceful, prosperous nation. And I want to believe from now onwards that will be the engagement we shall be engaging on. As Governor Sess has said, Your Excellency, we are very well instructed that we shall engage with our colleagues not in an environment of threats and blackmail, not in an environment of uncertainty, but having the certainty that we are engaging with other leaders who also ought to carry the aspirations of the people who have elected them, Your Excellency. And I want to promise you, as we engage together with Governor Cicely and the rest of the team, we shall do so with utmost respect to our Constitution, to the rule of law, respecting and protecting our democracy, and knowing that we have a duly elected and legitimate government to govern our country, with you and the Deputy President leading us in that front. Your Excellency, now that my faith is restored, I do not want to say more than that. I want to take this opportunity to ask all the members of Parliament who are here and our senators to come here I introduce them before I call on CS Alice Wahome to prepare herself. She will come. Members of Parliament, please, respectfully,